Live from the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, here's Sid Rosenberg.
The great When Doves Cry. Little Prince for you. My next guest is not from the great state of Minnesota. She's from the great state of South Carolina. We became, I would say, very friendly about a year ago. And as I just told you guys, even back then, a year ago, I was putting her name in Trump's ear as a possible VP choice. Now, of course, we know he went with J.D. Vance. And over the last year, my friend Nancy Mace has developed a very good relationship with the president, which seemed impossible, trust me, a couple of years ago. In fact, such a good relationship that later on tonight on the RNC floor, where I watched everybody from Lara Trump to Vivek to Mike Johnson to Steve Scalise speak last night, Nancy Mace will be out there speaking tonight. A huge honor. So let me start with this, Nancy Mace. Congratulations.
Thank you, Sid. It is an immense honor, and it comes with a great responsibility after the attempted assassination attempt on Donald Trump. So I feel the gravity of that responsibility today.
You know, it's funny. I'll mention three people in particular, all very close to Trump in proximity, I think, and more today. One of those is me. Back in 2016, I voted for Hillary. I thought Donald Trump ran the most sophomoric, silliest campaign I'd ever seen. But, of course, I'm an adult, so instead of just hating him and deciding to hate him the rest of my life, I said, okay, he won. Let me watch him work. And very quickly, I came to the realization he, along with Ronald Reagan, are the best presidents of my lifetime. Then he picks a vice president, J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance is only a couple of years removed from calling Donald Trump the American version of Hitler. He said some other really, really nasty things, although Hitler's about as nasty as it gets. And yet, he's the vice president. You, Nancy Mace, you had some not nice things to say about Donald Trump in the past. And here you are tonight speaking at the convention. Rosenberg, Vance, and Mace, all in the past, saying not very nice things about Trump, yet in that inner circle now. That tells me Donald Trump is a much more forgiving person than most people give him credit for.
Well, number one, yes. Number two, I would say my disagreements with Trump have always been on policy. Nothing personal ever. But he endorsed us in our race this year. We supported him for president because that's who America wants. That's who America's going to get. And I'm all in. You can call me MAGA Mace now. He is a very forgiving person. He's a father figure to a lot of people. He's doing what he did. Gosh, how quickly he rose to his feet Saturday night and showed courage and showed strength, showed resilience, is the kind of leader our nation needs right now. It's the kind of leader the world needs right now, given the chaos and crisis that so many are facing today. And I've never been more proud to be an American than I am right now.
That is well said. Nancy will speak tonight. Kimberly Guilfoyle will speak tonight. I believe Donald Trump Jr. and J.D. Vance will speak tonight, all leading up to the big guy tomorrow night. So who reached out to you when you found out you were, in fact, going to speak at this huge RNC convention?
The man, the myth, and the legend himself. We talked on Thursday, and we talked about me speaking at the convention, and I was just obviously thrilled and excited, but also enormously honored. He knows how important women are to every election, not just this one in particular, and how the left is going to try to use women as a wedge issue, particularly on the issue of abortion. And, I talked to him. That's when I got the invitation on Thursday.
I know over the last couple of months, the last year, he really started to like you. He did. Forget about the rest of his campaign. He did. But I do believe you had that moment. And that moment for you talking about abortion, Nancy, was a very courageous and spectacular, may I say, interview you did with George Stephanopoulos, who called Donald Trump a rapist a couple of times in that interview, and you ate George for lunch. So much, in fact, that the Trump team went out and sued Stephanopoulos afterwards. So I believe that was a moment where Trump said, man, this girl is really loyal.
Right, and to think that defamation case, because of the number of lies that George Stephanopoulos told during that 10-minute interview, was enormous. And in fact, I had my young girl with me. She was on set with me. To imagine the awkward conversation we had to have after that terrible interview, but to be a part of that and to show all of the lies that the mainstream media has told about this guy for a long time now. To be able to be a part of that was huge also because the American people, they see through the lies, and they need to have the wool pulled out. Everyone needs to be held accountable, including George Stephanopoulos. And I hope like hell that Trump gets a lot of money out of ABC.
Yeah, me too. It didn't take Stephanopoulos long. Trump shot on Saturday night, and Raditz and Stephanopoulos critical of Trump on Sunday morning, as was Margaret Brennan. So let me go back to that night, that Saturday. All of my guests that I brought on these last 3 days from Milwaukee, especially friends of Trump like you are, I've asked them the same question. Where were you, and how did you feel moments after?
Well, I was in the car. My son called me. I didn't know what was going on, and he's like, have you turned on the TV, turn on X, turn on TikTok? And I was like, what's going on? He's like, Trump's been shot. And I had a 15-minute drive. My son stayed on the phone with me the whole time, reading the headlines, reading the reporting that was coming out. And I'll never forget it. And I got out of the car because I was going to a dinner, and I was late for the dinner because my son and I were on the phone. And when I got out of the car, I only had like 2 blocks to walk to the restaurant. And so many people stopped traffic, literally got out of their cars. I'm talking black, white, Republican, Democrat, Independent. Everybody had something to say. Everybody wanted to talk that night. I think dinner went 4 hours because it kept being interrupted by bystanders, which is totally fine. It's part of the job. But everybody had something to say. And everybody, it was like a rallying cry for Trump. And America needs to get back on her feet just as quickly as Donald Trump did that night. We can't get to November fast enough and get this guy reelected.
Agreed. You were in Charleston, right?
Yes, I was in Charleston. I was on my way to Hall's, by the way.
Oh.
Sid.
That's Ava's favorite restaurant. She loved it there with you. All right, so I know you're busy. You got a million things to do today. I guess the big question is the speech done? It's finished, yes?
It's mostly. I just resubmitted it, another version of it this morning, actually about 10 minutes ago. I'm still working through it. The feeling on the floor, talking to different people, the vibe that I'm getting, I want to make sure that I'm 100%, 1,000% onto it. I can't wait. It's going to be great. We're going to talk about China. We're going to talk about Trump. We're going to talk about it all.
Do you know exactly who you speak before, after, when you're speaking?
I don't know. I do not know the lineup. It'll be at 7:09 Eastern time.
Okay, good. So I know Kimberly, for example, Guilfoyle is speaking at 7:45, so that'll be a big 7 o'clock hour here in Milwaukee. That's an 8 o'clock hour back in New York. Well, listen, I am thrilled for you. I saw you last night for a couple of minutes out there on the floor. It's a huge honor. Could not happen to a more deserved, nicer, better, tougher person than you, Nancy Mace. So I'll see you later on today and tonight. Go get them. Sir. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. God bless.
You too, Nancy Mace, Congresswoman out of South Carolina, and she is set to speak night 3 tonight from the RNC convention.